Hello everyone, my name is Ajmedin and this is Information Technology and Strategic Management November 2018 question paper, and then in this video we are going to cover up the information technology part suggested answer. So without wasting any time, let us begin with it. First of all, the question number 1A part is, what are the limitations of using decision trees? So friends, when you are designing a decision tree, so if it involves some kind of complexity of calculations, so decision tree itself become a complex task to have those uncertain or a different complex of transactions to be involved in that decision tree. Number two, it is some whenever you want to have some kind of changes in that decision tree, so it becomes sometimes unstable and difficult to make changes. You might be there to design the decision tree again, so even a small change in data can lead to a large amount of structural changes in the optimal decision tree. First, B part is distinguish between resilience and contention. So resilience refers to the ability of a network to recover from any kind of data loss or error due to maybe due to connection error or connection loss, connection failure, loss of data. So for example, you are playing any game, so if any server connection is there, server stop responding, so how soon the data can be recovered, this is the resilience. And then it is contention, which refers to the situation that arise when there are conflicts between some common resource in a network to be used. For example, there are two computers and you need to have that one printer is installed and simultaneously you give a print command, so it can be a possibility that which command to be taken first. So contention refers to the situation that arise when there is a conflict over the some common resource in that network. First, C is distinguish between message authentication and message integrity. So authentication means that the receiver is sure of sender's identity, and integrity means that the data must arrive at the receiver exactly in the same thing which was actually sent. And generally, if you see, the hackers generally try to commit their hacking into those sent messages during the transmission. So integrity means the data must arrive at the receiver on the very same format and exactly what it was. First, D is CRM versus SRM. So it is a very basic generic question, which is customer relationship management and supplier relationship management. Both are a different categorization. CRM is AR part and SRM is AP part. AP and AR means accounts receivable and AP means accounts payable. So CRM is a customer relationship management approach, a systematic approach you can say, where companies interaction with current and potential customer is there. And supplier relationship management is a systematic approach in assessing suppliers contribution towards towards the supplies which they give and towards the influence on the success of the suppliers performance, and developing some kind of a platform so that they could interact with the company in a more better way and reconciliation is possible in a proper way. So let me give you a couple of examples. Tata and Big Mahindra, these are the companies who basically involves a lot of SRM in their approach. Suppliers relationship management, spare parts to the company who supplies. So this is a very huge market altogether in this new industry. Next is first E, which is distinguish between service cloud models like SaaS and PaaS. So SaaS is it is includes the complete software offering on the cloud. The user can access a software application hosted by a cloud, and vendor used to pay when vendor used to charge as per pay per use basis. And PaaS, it is like client with access to the basic operating softwares, optional services to develop and use software application without need to buy and manage those computer infrastructure, for example Google App Engine. So it was a simple question, I believe. Next, it is second question about flowchart. So I have already covered the flowchart question with both the alternatives to answer, and I have got a lot of query about this before, so I made a separate video on the flowchart. And many of them also asked that which is because I gave the two approach for answering it, and many of the students asked me which of the alternative is correct. So in my opinion, both are correct, and I believe that examiner must have both with their suggested answers. So please refer the link below in the description box about the question number second's answer in a full-fledged video. First is what are unstructured and structured network security threats. So unstructured threats are these originate mostly from inexperienced individual using easily available hacking tools from the internet. Many of the tools may be available to anyone on the internet and can be discovered as a weakness of the networks as a networks company, and these include port scanning tools, address sweeping tools, and many others. So most of these kind of probes are done out of curiosity of and not with a malicious intention in mind. Out of curiosity, for example, if a company have external website, and and you know that if I delete some of the address, you can also go to the home page of the home complete download links. So these kind of things are unstructured threads, and structured threads are these originate from the individual who are highly motivated and technically competent, using an understanding of network systems and designs and vulnerability of the system, and they can understand and they can create those hacking tools particular to the network. So an individual who prevents a structural threat typically targets a specific group, and usually these hackers are hired by industry competitors to have those hacks towards the competitors websites, database networks, etc. Third, E is which of the following networks consider connectivity to a certain central unit, and write 3 advantages of such network. So in third B part, the star network is the one. The star network is very popular network configuration involving a central unit that has number of terminals tied into it. The characteristics of star network, it ties an end computers to a central computer. The central unit in the star network acts as a traffic controller, and the central computer is usually a mainframe or a host which acts like a file server. Some kind of advantages which I want to note down here for star network are several user can use central unit at the same time. It is easy to add new nodes and remove existing nodes, and the node failure does not bring down the entire network, which is very important, and it is easier to diagnose network problem through central hub. So this was for third B. Fourth A is discuss in brief about the two major approaches in establishing access controls. So in that case, fourth A approaches to access controls. There are two major approaches to be established, and which are, first is role based access control and second is rule based access control. So role and rule is the key term which you got to remember, and which is first role based is which is largely eliminates distinction between providing access to objects instead of administration, or the automated system plays subjects to the roles, and subject receives only the rights and permission assigned to that role. So this is role based access control, which is very important. Let me give you an example of SAP. So the firm, for example, in SAP, you can assign role-based access control. For example, if someone is taking care of cash book entry, so he have only the role of entering those cash ledger only. He can only hit that cash and the expense ledger, and nothing else he can do with the sales, with the purchases, nothing. And sometimes role-based is also including like AR role, that means account receivable role or accounts payable role. So role-based are there. Rule-based access control are also a methodology, and because of it largely context based on rules. For example, enforces static constraints based on the user's role. So roles are there, but some kind of restriction can be taken up. For example, a manager can approve the vouchers between between day end or after day end, or maybe like manager can only approve up to this authorized level. So some rules are basically integrated into the system, which is called as rule based access controls. Fourth B is list out various information resources and their corresponding products. For example, information resources are very important, and basically the answer is people resources, hardware resources, software resources, data resources, network resources, and information products. So I hope this was a manageable question. But people resource are, their products are specialists and end users. Hardware resources are machines, media, software are programs and procedures. Data resources are product descriptions. Network resources are communication media. Information products are management reports and other business documents that could be displayed. Next, it is fifth A, which is what are benefits of pursuing business process automation. List any 8. So this was a long question, I believe, and some of the benefits for pursuing such automation includes reducing the impact of human error, transforming data into information, which is very important, improving performance and end process efficiency, making the business more responsive, making user more efficient and effective. Cost saving is also there to remain competitive in the market, fast service to the customers, and the list can go on, but I believe I have covered up 8 to 9, or you can say improving collaboration and information sharing is also a benefit of it. Fifth be it what adequate controls related to data processing should be enforced through front-end application system to have consistency in the control process. Discuss any 4. So some of the ways are, run to run totals, reasonableness variance, verification. You can edit, you can have an edit checks over those controls. You can have field initialization, which includes data overflow can occur if records are constantly added to a table or a fields of suppose you can have also exception reports. For example, in the banks, the exception reports are always there in the day end as a day end procedure. This is very important report which is there. And you can have existence or a recovery controls, the checkpoints or the restart logs. You can collect the logs of the data and facilities a short-term backup or recovery control that enables a system to recover the failures as a temporary or localized. So these all are 4 things which I believe I have covered up more than 4. And sixth A, it explained the concept of mobile computing and also mentioned its components. So mobile computing is use of portable computing devices such as laptop, handheld computers in conjunction with the mobile communications technology to enable user to access the internet and data at their home or the working or the traveling in. It is a human computer interaction by which a computer is expected to transport during normal usage. So mobile computing involves mobile communication, mobile hardware, and mobile software. So these are the components of the mobile computing. 6b is discussed 6 major advantages and 2 disadvantages of database management system. So in that case, then let us begin with the advantages first. Permitting data sharing is database management systems. Most of the first of all, the advantages: minimizing data redundancy, integrity in the data, programming and file consistency, user-friendly environment due to DBMS, improved security. So you can write down these 6. And in the disadvantages, cost is main disadvantage and security reasons are there, which is one of the disadvantages of DBMS, because even with the safeguard in place, it may be possible for someone unauthorized user to access a database. If someone gets into it, he can do maybe anything with that data. So security reasons are always there. 7th A is write short notes on any of the 4, but we will cover all the 5. 7th A is top-down commitment and bottom-up execution. This is really very important thing which a management used to think, and in order to have a BPM to work, top management needs to commit to it and support the process focused management, because undoubtedly if there is any change, then employees are going to have the opposition on it, and without top management commitments, BPM is likely to disappear because of internal organization resistance. So executing a process improvement should be a bottom up approach, and the benefit of the bottom up approach is countlessly less resistance if the top level management directs an employee most directly affected by the change. Next, it is 7th B, which is memory management by operating system. This is very generic question, and every mobile user must have dealt with this memory management, and it is a feature of a operating system, and where you can have a control over the memory which is accessed and have the maximum available memory and storage for the usage. And operating system also provide a virtual memory by carving out a disk of hard disk as a supplement function in management, and they can be used as a RAM. So for a sake of knowledge, you can also use your pen drive as a RAM in the operating systems like Windows 10. Okay, 7C is any 4 risks involved in e-commerce. So this is very general question, and this can be like attack from hackers and denial of services. There can be lack of authentication of transaction, and there can be a duplication, repetitive transaction could be happen while you are doing e-commerce, or transaction may not be happen, which is called as denial of services, lack of audit trail in those cases. 7th D is electronic check superior to paper check. So the electronic check can be proved to a superior of a paper check in one of the significant aspect, which is as sender we can protect ourselves against fraud by encoding our account and with the bank's public key, thereby not revealing to any account number to the merchant. So not account number is not shared as in the normal check you need to share, but as it sets protocol, and digital certificates can be used for authentication to the payer and payer's bank and the bank account. So in that case you can say that it is superior to the paper check. Next, it is 7th E, which is resource balancing. So for applications that a grid enabled, the grid can offer a resource balancing effect by scheduling grid jobs on machine with low utilization. This feature is of a feature of grid computing, which handles occasional peak loads of the activity in a part of larger organization, and unexpected peak can be routed, and relatively idle machine or in a grid can be utilized in the full capacity. So you can write down this in the resource balancing, and this is it. And we have covered the IT part. SM part is also there in the description box, the link is there. So thank you very much for watching.